In the depths of darkness, mysteries exist that defy explanation. In the remote and untouched corners of our planet, peculiar shadows, strange shapes, and unexplainable events disturb our senses, suggesting a reality beyond our grasp. This feeling of uncertainty implies the presence of undiscovered entities, some of which may pose a threat to our survival.
It could do something else. I mean, there was even a morning that I woke up and I had felt like something was around my neck.
What dangers lie hidden in the secret places of the world? Join us as we uncover the chilling imagery from Earth's most haunted spots. (1930s beach with a time twist). In everyday life, unexpected and puzzling mysteries can emerge. Take, for example, a simple photo from the 1930s, captured on a bright, sunny beach in British Columbia, Canada. In this photo, most people wear what you'd expect for a beach scene back then, swimsuits that cover much more than today's styles. But there's one person who looks very out of place. This person is dressed in what looks like modern-day summer clothing, a t-shirt with some kind of design on it, casual shorts, and sporting a haircut that you might see walking down the street today. This peculiar appearance has led some to wonder, could this be a real-life time traveler caught on film, someone from our time who somehow ended up in the 1930s? The idea is spine-tingling and has sparked many conversations. However, some doubt this theory, providing simpler explanations. They argue that the person's modern t-shirt could just be a sweater that's been rolled up to cool down, and the shorts might just be pants that are rolled up too. They suggest the hairstyle could easily result from a strong breeze or an accidental dunk in the ocean, giving it a more modern-day appearance. Despite the mystery, most people are unconvinced about the time travel theory. For most people, including scientists and everyday folks, the concept of someone actually being able to travel back in time is still firmly in the realm of science fiction. From time travel to ancient mysteries in the desert, we're about to dive deep into the past. Ancient artwork or alien cryptic messages? Deep in the arid expanses of Peru, the ancient Nazca civilization has left us with an enigmatic and chilling puzzle etched into the ground, the Nazca lines. These massive figures and patterns, known as geoglyphs, depict various animals and mysterious designs that spread across the desert, visible fully only from the sky. The mystery deepens when we consider how a civilization that existed 2,000 years ago managed to create such vast and precise artworks without the ability to view them from above. The desert holds these secrets tightly as we ponder the purpose behind these perplexing lines. The lines have sparked countless theories. Were they created as a way for the ancient people to communicate with or honor their gods, perhaps asking for water or blessings? Some researchers have proposed that the lines acted as astronomical instruments or sophisticated maps pointing to underground water sources essential for survival in such a harsh environment. Others believe they were part of elaborate rituals to call forth rain from the dry heavens. Yet, none of these explanations fully satisfy our curiosity, leaving the true purpose of the lines a mystery. Next, we step from desert lines to mysterious images hidden in old paintings. Mysterious light in Renaissance painting. Deep in the mysterious parts of history, there are strange stories about old things in paintings that seem out of place, like they don't belong in their time. A spooky example is the artwork from the 15th century called Madonna with Saint Giovannino, which people think was made by Domenico Ghirlandaio, a famous artist from Italy. In this painting, the main picture shows the Virgin Mary holding the little John the Baptist. But the real mystery is hidden in the background. Up in the sky, there's a weird, shining thing that looks out of this world. Underneath this strange light, there's a man standing with his dog, looking up, his hand up to protect his eyes from the bright light coming from this strange sky object. Some people whisper and wonder, could this be a painting of an old-time UFO? People talk a lot about this, with some saying this might be one of the first pictures to suggest visitors from another planet. The light shining from the strange object makes it look even more mysterious. But not everyone thinks it's about aliens. Some experts say it's just a religious symbol, maybe an angel or the Holy Spirit, which are often seen in holy pictures from those days. Others think it might be showing the Star of Bethlehem or a sign from God. But the spooky part is, we still don't know what it really means. It's a puzzle wrapped in a mystery. Now, from hidden images to real-life ghosts, we're looking at a photo that brings the past to life. Ghostly visitor in group photo. Do ghosts really exist? Through the dark and foggy paths of history, many people say they've seen spirits from beyond. Most of these stories get forgotten because there's no real proof. But now and then, something appears that makes people talk and wonder for a long time. A really spooky example is a photo taken by Sir Victor Goddard in 1919. It looks like a normal picture of his military friends all together. But when you look closer, there's something scary, a ghostly face hiding behind the soldiers. This ghostly face is said to belong to Freddie Jackson, a man who was part of the group but died in a sad accident 2 days before the photo was taken. He didn't know he was dead because it happened so fast, caught in the blades of a plane propeller. Sir Victor Goddard, who took the picture, believed that Freddie's spirit came to join in the photo without realizing he had passed away. This photo has made people wonder and argue for a very long time. While some people think it's just a mistake with the camera or a trick of the light, others have looked into old records to find out if Freddie Jackson really existed and how he died. Despite all the guessing and investigating, one spooky thing stays true. In that photo, among all those faces, there's one that looks too much like a ghost. It's a reminder that some things just can't be explained away. From real ghosts to night mysteries, these creatures are unlike anything you've seen. Silent strangers in the dark. In the deep silence of night, a mysterious creature steps out from the darkness, something so strange it doesn't seem real. Caught on camera, this creature isn't an ordinary animal, but looks more like two white pants walking all by themselves. It's spooky because there's no sign of a body or head, just the legs moving quietly across the ground. This strange story starts in Fresno, California, back in 2007. A man, tired of his dogs barking every night, put up a security camera outside his house. He hoped to find out what was bothering them. But what he saw on the video was something he never expected. There were two odd shapes, like pants with legs, walking across his yard. Confused and looking for answers, he showed the video to a ghost hunter and a local TV station. Suddenly, everyone was talking about it. Then, in 2011, these strange creatures appeared again, but this time in the thick forests of Yosemite National Park. Like a game of hide and seek, they were caught on camera between the big trees. The TV show, Fact or Faked Paranormal Files, tried to figure out if the video was real. Even with all their equipment and knowledge, they couldn't recreate what was on the video. The mystery of what these Fresno nightcrawlers really are is still unsolved. Leaving the land for the sea, let's explore a tale of a monster hidden beneath the waves. Sea Giant, a photographer's close call. In March 1965, a chilling story surfaced, leaving people everywhere feeling a bit scared. Robert Lazarek, a photographer from Brittany, claimed in Everyone magazine in Australia that he had taken pictures of something incredible. A sea monster, huge like something from old sailor tales. The first to see it was Lazarek's wife while she was looking out at the sea. She saw something big and dark in the water, shaped like a giant tadpole, about 30 feet long. They couldn't believe their eyes, but kept taking pictures. As they got closer, the camera showed a huge shadow under the water. Lazarek decided to dive in to get a closer look, but what he found was even more shocking. The creature was not 30 feet, but an enormous 75 to 80 feet long. For a moment, everything was quiet, and the creature seemed like it wasn't alive, just floating there. But then, as Lazarek filmed, the monster moved. It opened its huge mouth, as if warning him to stay away. Filled with fear, Lazarek quickly swam back to his boat, realizing he was too close to something very dangerous. He was scared he might end up as its next meal. This experience left him shaken, and the story of his sea serpent encounter has intrigued and frightened people ever since. From deep waters to snowy mountains, a chilling story waits in the cold. Tragedy in the snow, lost hikers. In a cold, remote part of the Ural Mountains, there's a scary story that many people still talk about today. It's known as the Dyatlov Pass incident. Back in 1959, 9 experienced hikers from Russia went on a trip in these mountains and never returned home. What happened to them is so strange and confusing that people still can't figure it out. The area where the hikers were found was covered in snow, untouched except for the tragic scene it hid. The only clues left behind were the photos on their cameras. These photos were really spooky and made everyone even more curious about what happened. In one of the pictures, there was a blurry shape that looked like it was just outside the forest, kind of blending in with the trees. People started calling this the Yeti photo because it seemed like there might be a mysterious creature out there. Another photo, which was probably taken on the very last night the hikers were alive, showed a strange ball of light in the dark sky. Some people think this light was a warning, or maybe something even more mysterious. The scary photos make everyone ask even more questions. Was the incident caused by secret military activities? Or maybe the hikers ran into some local people who didn't want them there. There are even stories about strange creatures that might have come after the hikers. The simplest way to explain what happened is with an avalanche. Some people think a big wall of snow might have fallen on the hikers while they slept, which could explain the injuries some of them had. But even with this explanation, there are still a lot of things that don't make sense. The truth is, we still don't really know what happened to those 9 people on that cold winter night in the mountains. After the snow, we open a book full of puzzles no one can solve. Voynich's confusing puzzle. Hidden in the depths of history, the Voynich manuscript remains a ghostly mystery. This peculiar book got its name from Wilfred Voynich, a Polish man who traded in old and rare books and found this unusual piece in 1912. It's filled with writings from the 15th century that no one today can understand. The pages of this manuscript are covered with bizarre illustrations, pictures of plants no one can name, maps of the stars that don't match any constellations we know, and strange recipes that seem to belong to no known medicine. What sort of world does this manuscript come from? It shows plants that nobody has seen on Earth and stars that don't fit into our night sky. How can there be maps of places that don't exist and plants that nobody has ever cataloged? Many people have guessed at the meanings. Some think it could be an ancient guide to medicines that are now forgotten. Others think it might be a book of secret chemical recipes. Or maybe it's just a long story meant to entertain or puzzle us. People have tried for years to unlock the language in which it's written, but it remains a code that no one can crack. Now, from mystery books to creepy caves, what's hiding in this photo? The hidden face in the darkness. In the mysterious 1990s, a chilling story came out of a cave in Ras Al Khaimah. A tourist, aiming to capture the dark beauty of the cave on camera, accidentally caught an image of a frightening figure lurking within. But the story takes a darker turn. Right after the camera clicked, a scream echoed through the cave, freezing the tourist's blood. Panicked, they ran to get help, and the police, upon investigating, made a grim discovery. A person was found dead inside the cave. The photo of the strange figure spread like wildfire, causing fear and fascination around the world. Was it a trick of the light? A natural shadow that looked like a monster? Or was there something truly dangerous hiding in the depths of the cave? And the darkest question of all hung in the air. Was the mysterious figure connected to the tragic death in the cave? As the years go by, the story remains shrouded in mystery. No clear answers have emerged, leaving the tale of the cave's creature an unsolved and haunting enigma. The puzzle of the outlaw's portrait. In a mysterious world, there's a riddle that stands out, the famous story of Billy the Kid. He was known for living a short and criminal life, and it's said he killed at least 11 people. But oddly, no one has ever found a real photo of him. He died young at 21, and without any pictures, his legend only grew bigger. People whispered stories that maybe Billy hadn't really died, and over time, many people pretended to be him. Then, years later, a supposed photo of Billy popped up and was sold for a huge amount of money. But the biggest surprise came in 2010. A man named Randy Gohara was looking through old stuff in a junk shop in Fresno and found a small, old photo. It showed two young men and a woman playing a game of croquet back in the 1800s. This photo looked a lot like the one that was sold before. But could it really be Billy? People got really into finding out if the photo was real. But croquet is a fancy game, which didn't fit with the tough, wild stories of Billy's younger days. Even now, people still argue about it and can't agree whether it's him or not. From outlaws to outer space, what's the story behind this spaceman? The Phantom Astronaut Encounter. In 1964, something strange happened during a normal family outing near Solway Firth. A firefighter named Jim Templeton took a picture of his little daughter in a field. But when they looked at the picture after it was developed, they saw something scary. There was a tall figure in white, looking like a spaceman from another world, standing right behind his daughter. This figure had a helmet, and its face was in the dark, just starting out. Jim was sure they were alone when he took the picture. Experts from Kodak and the police looked at the photo and said it wasn't faked. But who was this mysterious spaceman? Some people think it was actually Jim's wife, caught in the photo in a way that made her look strange. They say her blue dress got too bright in the photo, making it look white, and her hair looked like part of a space helmet. But even with this simple explanation, looking at the photo still gives people a spooky feeling. Moving from space to spooky houses, let's who joined this family photo. Scary photo bomb in Texas. Back in the middle of the 1950s, there was a family from Texas named the Coopers. They decided to start a new adventure and bought a very old and spooky house. They were very excited and a bit nervous about living in such an old place, but they wanted to make good memories there. On the first night in their new home, they thought it would be a great idea to take a family photo as a keepsake of their new beginning. So, in the evening, they all got together in the dining room. Mrs. Cooper, their two young and unsuspecting sons, and Mr. Cooper's old mother stood smiling for the camera. Mr. Cooper himself was the one who took the photo. They all stood still, smiling, waiting for the click of the camera. After taking the picture, they had to wait for a while to see it. Back then, you couldn't see the photos right away. You had to send them off to be developed, which could feel like forever. Finally, when the photo came back, everyone was eager to see how it turned out. But what they saw was far from a happy family memory. There was something very strange and scary about the photo. In the picture, among the smiling faces of his family, there was something else. A figure that looked like a body was hanging from the ceiling in the background. It was a ghostly and transparent image, and it looked like it was falling or floating. This was a huge shock because Mr. Cooper was absolutely sure that there was nothing like that in the room when he took the photo. Nobody had seen anything strange that evening. This left the Cooper family with a lot of questions. Was this ghostly figure the spirit of someone who used to live in the house? Maybe it was someone who had left the world in a tragic way and was now stuck in the house forever. Leaving haunted houses for Mars, are we alone, or is someone out there? The staring faces on Martian soil. In the huge, empty space above us, there was a spaceship called Viking 1 that went on an exciting trip to Mars, the red planet we see in the sky. This ship had a big job, to learn new things about Mars. But it found something really strange that surprised everyone. The ship took pictures of the surface of Mars, and in those pictures, there was something that looked a lot like a person's face. Imagine a giant face lying on the ground of Mars, looking up at the sky. Not too far from this face, there was something else unusual. It looked just like a pyramid, like the ones in Egypt but on Mars. When people heard about the face on Mars, they got really excited, especially those who love mysteries and space stories. They started calling it the Martian Sphinx, like the famous Sphinx in Egypt that has a lion's body and a human head. But the surprises from Mars weren't over. When Google Mars came out, which lets us see Mars very closely like on a map, someone found another face. This second face was also big, quiet, and looked like it was staring into space, which made it even creepier. People started arguing and guessing about these faces. Were they part of an old city from a long time ago when Mars might have had life? Or were they just shapes made by the shadows and light on the rocks? From Mars to mysterious objects, let's find out the truth about the Black Knight, the tale of the astral watcher. Now let's talk about another strange story called the Black Knight satellite. This is about a mysterious picture that made people think there was a secret satellite watching us from space. Some say this Black Knight is an old alien ship that has been going around the Earth for thousands of years. Stories and rumors spread saying that NASA and other big groups are keeping this a secret from everyone. Some people think the Black Knight is just a story made up to confuse people or hide the real stuff about aliens and spaceships. Others are really scared and think it's a spying satellite from the times when the USA and Russia didn't get along, watching us from space all the time. People can't agree if it was sent by the Russians or by Americans. But then there's a twist in the story. In 1998, when astronauts were flying in space for a NASA mission called STS-88, they found out that the scary Black Knight might actually just be a piece of a blanket used to keep things warm in space, which got lost somehow. This normal explanation was very different from the scary stories. But still, people keep telling stories about the Black Knight. They wonder if there are hidden truths that we don't know about. Is it really just a lost blanket? Or is there something more mysterious going on with this so-called satellite watching us from space? The story keeps going, and the mystery stays unsolved, leaving us with more questions than answers. From space secrets to river mysteries, let's see what is really lighting up the night. The Mekong's mysterious lights. Deep in the heart of Southeast Asia, where the vast Mekong River flows, there lies a bewildering and ancient mystery known as the Naga fireballs. These are strange, glowing balls of light that mysteriously rise from the water into the air, leaving those who see them both amazed and frightened. Year after year, these glowing orbs appear, creating awe and fear among the locals and visitors alike. But what are these mysterious lights? Where do they come from? Some people who study nature and science think they might have an explanation. They believe that gases like methane and phosphine, which can be found under the riverbed, might be coming up to the surface. When these gases meet the air, they might catch fire if there's a little spark, or even just from the heat. This could explain the mysterious fireballs, but not everyone is convinced. On the other side of the debate are those who think there's a trick behind the phenomenon. They argue that the fireballs are man-made, nothing more than tricks played by people using flares or special bullets that glow. They point to reports and even a film suggesting that soldiers or locals could be creating the spectacle by firing these into the sky during the festival when the fireballs are most often seen. From glowing rivers to strange lights, what's lighting up this valley? The night wonders of Hessdalen. In the cold northern lands of Norway, there's a valley called Hessdalen where something unexplainable happens. For over 100 years, strange lights have been seen in the sky. These aren't just tiny twinkles like stars. They can be as big as cars and come in different colors. Sometimes they float in the air for hours, and other times they shoot across the valley and disappear. This mystery became so famous that in the 1980s, there was a time when the lights were seen up to 20 times a week. People from all over the world came to see, and everyone had a different idea about what they could be. Some thought they were ghost lights, spirits of the past haunting the valley. Others wondered if they were visitors from other planets, aliens in their spaceships. And there were those who felt these lights were signs of something dark and unknown coming our way. Despite all the guesses and investigations, nobody has been able to solve the mystery of the Hessdalen lights. They continue to appear, leaving witnesses puzzled and a little bit scared. The lights keep their secret well, making the valley a place of chilling intrigue and endless questions. Leaving the lights, we're off to find out if Bigfoot is real or just a tale. Bigfoot. Fact or fiction? In the dense forests of Bluff Creek, California, in the late 1960s, two adventurers named Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin set out with a mission to uncover the truth about Bigfoot, a creature of legend and mystery. Armed with a camera, they hoped to find evidence, but what they found was beyond their wildest dreams. The film they shot that day shows something incredible: a massive, ape-like figure, covered in dark fur, walking through the clearing. For a brief moment, the creature looks directly at the camera, giving a chilling glimpse into its unknown world, before disappearing back into the dense forest. The film stirred up a storm of debate. Patterson swore it was real, an actual sighting of the Bigfoot, a creature spoken of in hushed tones and seen by only a lucky few. But skeptics were quick to dismiss it. They argued it was just a man in a costume, a clever prank meant to deceive the public. Scientists and experts have pored over the footage, analyzing the creature's movements, the proportions of its body, and the context of the scene. Some say the creature moves in a way that no human could, suggesting it might be an unknown type of primate. Others point out inconsistencies and shadows that raise doubts about its authenticity. The Patterson-Gimlin film has become a cornerstone of cryptozoology, the study of creatures that haven't been proven to exist. It's a tantalizing piece of evidence for those who believe, and a curious anomaly for those who don't. The debate over its authenticity has lasted for decades, making the film and the figure it depicts legendary. From Bigfoot to desert secrets, what's creating these strange circles? Namibia's ringed enigmas. Deep in the Namib Desert of Namibia, a mysterious sight puzzles many. This vast, dry area is home to strange marks known as fairy circles. These are weird round spots where nothing grows, and they're ringed by short grass. From up high, they look like a giant pattern of empty spots in a sea of green, stretching far and wide. People from around here tell old stories about magical beings or giant steps creating these spots. But scientists and folks from other places have many guesses. Some think tiny bugs called termites might be the cause. Others believe it's because the plants are fighting over water. And there are even wilder guesses like leaks of gas from under the earth or something to do with radioactive stuff. No one knows for sure what's going on. These fairy circles remain a big puzzle of nature, making people argue and dream about finding out their true story. In this lonely, quiet spot, the Earth keeps its secrets very well, adding a spooky feel to the whole place. Now, from deserts to magic, was this woman for real or just tricking us? The mystery of the floating tables. This story is about a woman with a very puzzling past. Her name is Eusapia Paladino, and she was born a long time ago in a small place in Italy. She ended up marrying a man who did magic tricks on stage, and that might have helped her start her own unusual job. Eusapia became famous because some people believed she had special powers. In pictures, she seems to do impossible things, like making tables float without touching them. But not everyone was convinced. Some thought she was just very good at tricking people. Back then, most people didn't believe in such things, so her so-called powers were a big topic. Whether she was really magical or just a clever trickster, Eusapia's story is still a mystery that makes people curious and a bit scared, wondering about the strange things in the world that can't be easily explained. Let's now find out if this airship was from the future or the past. The Sky Mystery of 1911. In 1911, a photo started showing up and got everyone talking and guessing. This photo showed a huge flying machine sitting in the sky above Huntington, West Virginia. This was no normal sight. The flying machine looked super modern, like anything anyone had seen. Normally, flying machines back then were pretty basic and small, but this one was different. It was big, had lots of fans for moving, and looked like it could take a lot of people from one place to another. What's really weird is that there's nothing written down anywhere that tells us this flying machine was real, except for this one picture. It's like it just appeared out of nowhere, making people feel a bit spooky about it. Some think maybe a very smart person, who no one knows about, made this advanced flying machine way before anyone else could. Then, some folks think maybe the picture was just a trick, like someone was just having a bit of fun making things up. Kind of like how people edit photos today to make them look different. But no one has found any proof that the photo was changed. This flying machine story is confusing, and no one knows exactly what to make of it. There are so many guesses and ideas, but nothing solid. The person who took the photo and why they did it is still a big question mark. Are these spine-chilling photos mere tricks of light, or do they reveal secrets beyond our understanding? Share your thoughts below and don't forget to like and subscribe for more unexplainable mysteries.